morning! Good morning! Good morning! Are you in there, man? I'm here!
Welcome to the day one roundup to where we've actually been on the mountain building Eddie Edwards. As we're starting to go up inside the cable car, you can just imagine the kind of thoughts that are going on inside our minds, inside the minds of all the rest of the competitors. The key thing is, what are we going to find? What is that snow pile going to look like? And how are we going to be able to take the next 4.5 days to make the most awesome sculpture we could possibly ever create? And the thing is, we don't know what's going to be in there. The snow is going to shape itself. It's going to tell us as we're going through and working it what it's going to be, how it's going to look, how it's going to be worked. We don't know whether we're going to find holes in the snow. We don't know whether we're going to find dirt in the snow. We don't know how it's going to actually react as we're starting to uncover what's going to be our version of Eddie the Eagle Edwards. And as we're going up in this cable car, there isn't any more planning we can do. There's nothing else we can do at this point in time other than get ourselves to that snow pile and just make a start. And that's really where we are. We kind of let everything else go. We kind of relax into it. We're just happy, we're joyous, we're full of energy. We've got the excitement of the few days ahead. We know it's going to be an interesting day. We know certainly from a weather point of view, because there's so many fluctuations that's already been forecasted. But how is that actually going to be affecting us today on the mountain in making this happen? Now, at the welcome dinner last night, we did find out actually that our snow pile had been moved from its position by the helipad over to where the other sculptors are in the main body of the arena, which is going to be absolutely fantastic because we're going to be able to see what the other guys are doing, have that little bit of camaraderie as well. And it's an absolutely fantastic place because as all the kind of skiers come down from the higher elements into the piste, they all kind of descend at the IDELP kind of level, and it means that we'll be able to see more people coming around, more people being able to enjoy this sculpture that we're looking to create. Now the journey, as soon as you get to the top of the cable car, doesn't stop there. We now have to trudge across the snow to be able to get to the snow pile. If we had some skis, we could have skied across there, but we did have a little bit of a problem getting the skis today due to we didn't bring up one of the COVID passes because COVID's a big issue at the moment out in Europe and certainly out in Austria, and it means that people are being extra vigilant, the country is being extra secure, we've got some really good rules in place, and people are actually abiding by them and making sure that they're making this a safe and secure environment for everybody that comes so they can come and just enjoy themselves. And trust me, when you look at the people as being doing the downhill skiing and they've been doing the alpine snowboarding and everything else, everyone's got a great smile on their face, even those people that have been learning. Yep, the ski school is open and people are just going in there and enjoying it. They're enjoying the mountains and being here, and we're enjoying the atmosphere too. It's great to be back in Ischl and great to be back in the mountainside. I mean, when you look at the views that are around you and everything is just fantastic.
Yep. We claim this snow pile in the name of the Queen and in the hope of Eddie the Eagle Edwards will appear.
One of the interesting things is we're probably one of the only teams that actually has a team flag, but we're really proud of the sculptures we create, even when it's a case of we're not having to do all the work ourselves. I mean, let's face it, humanity, we're not supposed to do everything ourselves. We're supposed to be a community, we're supposed to be helping each other out, etc. And one of the things we do use a lot on building these really big structures is the snow cats, also known as piston bullies or piste bashers, and I've got a whole raft of different names. And these are incredible machines, absolutely huge machines that are able to go in there and actually move tons and tons of snow around. Now the thing is, they're not unbreakable, so these piston bully drivers have to be absolutely fantastic, top of the game, because if they get the blade angle wrong, what could happen is actually to break the hydraulics on it. If they dig the snowcat in at the wrong angle, it could get stuck. If they go over and take a too steep angle, it might even roll or something. So these guys are absolutely fantastic. Now we've been really lucky today. We've had some amazing piston bully drivers. This chap here, first guy this morning, he spent over an hour with us. This is unusual. We don't usually get this amount of attention on our snow sculptures, but this is a huge snow sculpture. By the time this guy has finished his first hour in doing this, we've already taken the rough cuts down to make this a 15 metre long by 5 metre wide by 5 metre high, and we're still going to dig it down a little bit further, probably over tomorrow and Wednesday. Now this guy here, I personally would say he's a surgeon with this piston bully. He was getting incredibly close to the tools, he was putting the cuts in just the right place, just taking that right amount of snow off. And the thing is, this is going to save us hours if not days worth of work, because if you look at the amount of snow this guy's taking away, he's easily getting rid of around about 20 tonnes of snow, maybe even as high as 40 tonnes of snow in this one cutting alone. And then being able to take that as close as we can, that means it saves us hours and hours of work. Over the entire day, we've probably moved around about 16 tonnes of snow just by ourselves, which is quite a bit. I mean, that's what, over 16 cubic metres of water effectively. Now snow's slightly bigger than water because obviously it's frozen, and therefore water expands as it freezes. So you do get that kind of effect where it is actually a larger space that's been created. But what you don't notice until later on in the sculpture is where we're just stood right now. That's where we're basically building some of the terraces, and we're kind of blasting down by around about 1.5 to 2 metres already, by about 1.5 metres wide in 2 different pieces, because we're trying to now shape the top of the Olympic gate, which is going to be there. That's where the start of the ski run's going to be, and over the next day or two you'll see that start to take further shape as we start to put in things such as the flames, such as the Calgary 88, etc., to really make that come to life and really work. But coming back to the piston bully, as you can see, this guy absolutely knows his stuff. He's making this work the best he possibly can, which we are absolutely so grateful for, as I say, for just A, for the amount of time and effort it's going to save us, and B, it means that means that's more time for us to get into some of the detail work, to really make this sculpture come to life, to really make it shine. And the detail work might be things such as putting features on there. It might be a case of finding things that we didn't expect to find, or it might be just a case of how we spend the extra time getting that final finish to really look really good, really smooth, really crisp, so that it's something that we can stand back and say, actually, that looks really good. It looks like it wasn't actually made out of snow. And snow's great. Snow is kind of one of those great materials to work with. It feels a little bit like polystyrene when you're working with it. But unlike polystyrene, this is 100% eco-friendly material in the fact that it's 100% recycled as well. The piston bully is probably not 100% recycled, and I'm pretty sure that's not actually the most eco-friendly vehicle on the planet. However, the snow certainly is. Now at this time of the day, we're probably around about -4, maybe -5, and we seem to be getting real bad gusts of wind, and we keep flowing in different directions. So one minute it's kind of calm, as you can see here, next minute it really builds up, and we can get a lot of wind kind of going whipping around us. Now that wind itself also carries with it a drop in temperature, as we see going from maybe -4, -5 at the bottom of the sculpture to being stood on top, where you actually got no shelter from the wind. You might be about -7, so it's really important to have the right clothes.
Yep.
So what we're going to do is, across from the flag, there's a little dip,
Yep.
and there's a hump,
Yep.
and there's a notch.
Yep.
I think if we drop the face down where the notch is there,
Okay.
it'll compress that space
Okay.
rather than taking it further back.
Because we need to remember to put some stairs at the back somewhere down this line here.
Yeah, they could even spiral up.
Ah,
from the
yeah.
outside, rather than going straight up.
That'd be pretty cool.
So yeah, we won't worry about that too much, but that's what we can do. So basically, I think that's going to be where the Calgary starts, and it's going to want to go down nearly to this level,
Yep.
which is a shitload of snow coming left and right, basically.
We could do that.
And then what we'll have to do is, when we've gone down to that level, let's get, like, in the next day and a bit, get the Calgary cut in,
Yep.
this bit finished, and on sort of Wednesday afternoon start that section.
Yeah.
Probably from Friday morning we're doing Eddie, but as long as we've got that kick in going up, and then what we'll do is we'll get the piste basher to come in and narrow that front. So when you're on the top, you can see it's really wide going out. We don't need to move that amount of snow.
Yeah.
We'll bring it in narrow like that.
Yeah.
So basically it looked like a car or a nice chunky woman getting tapered off.
Well, you are a figurative sculptor.
Yeah, I do like the figures.
Okay.
And as you can see, as we kind of blast through the snow, we use the shovels to really dig in and kind of move the snow. Now, one of the things with snow is it kind of splinters actually quite easy if you go from the top and kind of just take shavings off it, rather than trying to dig flat.
Perfect.
Now that's the spot we would have been at, pretty much right next to that rescue helicopter. Now thankfully today we haven't heard that actually have to take off or land many times today. In fact, this is the only time it had to move, which obviously means there's not been that many accidents on the mountain, which we're thankful for, obviously. Now this is unheard of. We actually had 2 piston boys working in the afternoon on our sculpture. They've been able to take that tapering at the front that Justin was talking about earlier to really remove a lot of the snow to make it easier for us to actually then finish this off, because we don't need it to be that wide at the jump off point where Eddie's going to take off into the air and really make it feel like he's part of that new environment. But these guys were great. They kind of just took away that little bit extra from the actual sculpture for us, and then they cleaned up the entire area afterwards. So not only is it a case of we've got the reduction in the size of the sculpture, we've actually got a really nice clean working environment to work in. We're only going to fill it with more debris, but that's not the point. It means it just keeps it looking nice and fresh. As people coming round, it looks appealing as well. These police and boy drivers have been absolutely fantastic today. They really have looked after us, and they're working all the time, coordinated. Now these things are actually controlled and checked by GPS, so it means that the guys know where any of the other drivers are at any point in time. They also have things like the equivalent of sonar, which is zapping the ground all the time to tell how close they are to the actual physical ground in comparison to the compacted snow that they're running over at the moment. They really are incredible machines. And do make a massive difference when building a big structure.
Right.
And one of the things you can see with this from Justin's carving is the difference in the type of spades we have. The one that I use has a curved blade, this one's got a flat blade, and it means we can actually get a lot of different things done with the flat blade with a straighter edge. And it's very high. I mean, just look how long it takes for that to drop to the ground. But it's absolutely gorgeous here. As the sun kind of just popped up from behind the mountain around about 3 o'clock this afternoon, the light completely changed, and it really just felt magical just being in this spot, just for that moment. It felt magical all the time. And as you can see, this is the legendary room we were talking about, really kind of pushing it out, and we think it made the Union Jack really fly beautifully today. But the sun itself just glistens nicely now off the side of the face that we've done there. Now that face isn't finished, it's kind of rough cut in now with the spade. We'll look to try and finish off the real nice polished finish by the end of the sculpture, so keep having a look at these. That's where you're going to see the big differences kind of coming in. But it's not all about using tools. Sometimes it's just getting your hands and knees and basically just move that snow, just move it away. And when we're finished, we're back down in the absolutely beautiful village of Ischl. We're heading back towards our hotel, the Hotel Priscilla, where Catherine and the team there are absolutely looking after us really well. We're really pleased to be back in Ischl. It's a lovely, lovely place, and as I say, they really are taking care of us really nicely. The hotel is comfortable, the food's been amazing, the staff has been absolutely wonderful, and even with all the restrictions, etc., we've still got an amazing amount of hospitality, as you can just imagine. So yeah, we're knackered at this point in time. We've just been working in like sub-zero temperatures for hours on end, real laborious work. We just want to kind of get back in, relax, and we're going to see you guys tomorrow back on the mountain.